Okay, so around a week ago I made a video talking about Breaking Bad because I finally watched the show and I want to discuss it a little bit, give my opinion. And if you watched that video, you know that I really like the show. And this movie right here, El Camino, is basically a follow-up to Breaking Bad, like a direct sequel. And I watched this movie as well, of course. I mean, I really like Breaking Bad, so I just instantly went on to watch this with my family. And now we're watching Better Call Saul as well, so we're going through the whole fucking universe. But yeah, today I want to discuss El Camino. So if you haven't watched the movie yet already, you should. And if you haven't watched Breaking Bad yet, you should as well, because I will be going into spoilers a bit on both of those things. So, this movie, I think it was really good, but it's kind of hard to compare it to Breaking Bad, because it was not as good as Breaking Bad, okay? It was kind of a little weaker in my opinion. But it's still really, really good. But it's hard to meet Breaking Bad standards here because the show is just so perfect. So it was not really on the same level, but it was still really good. I gave it a 9 out of 10. But a lot of people didn't really like this all that much compared to Breaking Bad. So the average rating is a 7.3. Which is also because a lot of people think that it's kind of an unnecessary movie. But I don't know, I liked it. I like how Jesse's character develops more in this movie. And yeah, I do think it was definitely necessary though. Like, people saying this was an unnecessary movie, I disagree with. I mean, it didn't have to be made, but I mean, I think it is good that it did. I think it's a nice way to wrap up the Breaking Bad series, I guess. But I do have one thing to say about it though, that it kind of feels like an extra episode almost. It doesn't really feel like a movie all that much. It kind of just feels like, a bonus episode or like 2 episodes crammed in one from Breaking Bad. But I mean, that's not really a big complaint or something. It's just something that, I noticed. But anyways, I'm gonna get into spoilers now. So if you haven't watched it yet, you definitely should. And yeah, so I want to talk about the beginning first. So I really like how they begun with Jesse, of course, in that car in the El Camino, and driving away from his, people that held him hostage for so long, because of course Walt killed him. And as Jesse's driving away, of course, in that moment, Walt is getting arrested, or well, not arrested. I mean, he's dead. Like, he's dead. He gets found by the cops, which we don't see here, of course. I mean, we already saw that in the final of Breaking Bad, but it's so interesting to think about, right? As he's driving away, we see him driving away, and as that happens, things unfold there in the meth lab that Walt died in. But yeah, so he drives away, and it already becomes really good here because we got Skinny Pete and Badger, right? Now, these two are obviously some of the best characters in the whole show. I fucking love these two guys. And to have them, be on screen for longer, it was really cool. But it was scary, bro. Like, when Jesse knocks on their door, like, Skinny Pete didn't even recognize him, bro. It was fucked up. They were, like, kind of afraid of him. And instantly we can see Jesse already, like, having, like, trauma stuff. Because he almost fucking shot Skinny Pete and Badger, bro. When they were, like, checking up on him in a room. He pulled out his gun out of nowhere and almost shot him. Like, it was kind of sad. And he even showered with his gun, bro. Bro came out of the shower and his gun was all wet. So yeah, it was kind of tragic how Jesse got so fucked up in there. But anyways, Skinny Pete and Badger help him out, but they see the news, right? So they watch the news and they see all these things about Walter White in the news, and they're like, shit, yo, stuff went down. And they also hear about a captive that was at that place that Walt died, that had been tortured for years. Or, I mean, I don't know if they knew that he got tortured. I don't know if that was on the news, but they did know that he was a captive working for them. So they were like, yo, bro, was that you? And I mean, of course, it was Jesse. I mean, man, they did him fucked up. He has a whole bunch of scars as well from all the torturing. I feel really bad, bro. So yeah, Jesse spends a bit of time at Skinny Pete's house, showering, sleeping. And then first thing on his mind is we gotta get rid of the car, but the El Camino cannot stay here because obviously it's evidence, he has to get rid of that, else he can get tracked from it. So he calls up an old friend, Old Joe, and Old Joe is a legend. If you remember him from Breaking Bad, he's the one that crushed the RV as well. He was running that junkyard. So Old Joe is a legend, and of course he helps Jesse out, man. But yeah, it didn't actually work out because Old Joe, he found a tracker on the car, and it was like it was sort of an alarm thing, I don't know, but it already went off, so they already knew where the car was. So Old Joe couldn't move it, sadly. Very unfortunate stuff. So he just gets the fuck out of there, and we don't see Old Joe again, unfortunately. But then Skinny Pete comes through with a master plan, bro. Like, Skinny Pete, like, out of nowhere. Bro is a fucking genius with this plan of, like, Badger driving somewhere and then Jesse driving somewhere else in a different car. It was a really good plan. And then the wildest shit ever happens, right? We get to see Skinny Pete take off his hat. So you have Skinny Pete with hair, bro. Like, he was having hair. You can see it right here. You have him with hair, bro. It was such a weird scene. Like, I was like, what the fuck? But it was a really cool scene. It was really wholesome. Yo, what the fuck? Is this him? Bro, Skinny Pete is old. Holy moly. But anyways, yeah, this scene was cool as fuck. And Badger and Skinny Pete also give Jesse a bunch of fucking money to survive, which is also really wholesome. And then Jesse asks, like, why are you doing all this? And then Skinny Pete is like, bro, you're like my inspiration or something. I don't know what he said, but like he was basically like saying that he looks up to Jesse. He thinks Jesse's like a very really cool guy. Of course, he's like a big brother or to him, I guess. I don't know, but he said something wholesome. I don't exactly remember what it was, and it was just a really nice scene, man. Shout out to Skinny Pete. Now Jesse gets out of there, of course. He gets out of the situation, and he goes to Todd's apartment. So we get a bunch of flashbacks, you know, and I really like those flashbacks. I feel like they added a lot of depth to the story. We get to see some scenes of Jesse during his captivity that we didn't see before. And I gotta say one thing, bro. Todd, alright? What the fuck is this? This is terrible. So on the left we have Todd from Breaking Bad, this fine young man, and then on the right we have Todd in El Camino. And there's not a time difference, right? This is the same like time, but it's the actor just completely changed. And I don't know how this happened. It's not even that he's like fat or anything. I mean, he's obviously gotten fatter, but he also just looks fucked up. Just look at his eyes, and he is like weird, like I don't even know what is this. He just looks disgusting. Like, I don't know what happened to this actor. I mean, he looks fine now. I googled him, but I don't know what was going on with him in 2019. But he looks fucking trash. And the reason why he looks like this is because the movie was like filmed on a short notice. It wasn't like planned or anything. They just randomly went ahead and just shot the shit in like 50 days or something. So he didn't have time to like lose weight or something. But I mean, this is just terrible. Like, what the fuck? He does not look the same at all. Like, it's kind of weird to have those scenes where like it's the same timeline, you know? Jesse being held in captivity by this man originally, and then in the flashbacks we have this guy right here. Like, what the fuck? Although we do have a fan theory here about Todd and why he looks so different. So the theory is that the movie is like from Jesse's perspective, sort of, and that he remembers Todd in like a bad way because of the you know, he was held in captivity. Of course, he was tortured by those guys. So he remembers Todd as like, I don't know, just not this fine gentleman we have right here, but as a fucking monster, I guess. I don't know, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So to sum that all up in one sentence, we have this right here. El Camino's depiction of an older and heavier Todd Elquist may be a reflection of how Jesse perceives him, yeah. So yeah, just how Jesse remembers it. But I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense, but you know, it is what it is. We have this fat-ass Todd in El Camino that is just, you know, not great. But, you know, it's just a small, like, casting issue, I guess, but it doesn't really affect the movie. It's just kind of strange. But the same thing kind of goes for Jesse, though. Like, they did, like, kind of a weird job with him. Because here we have the scene, right? Where he drives off in the final episode of Breaking Bad. So look at this, right? We have him. You see the hair? He's not that much hairier, right? But look at this. Look at this. Oh, and suddenly, he has way more hair, bro. Bro looks like Wolverine. Like, what the fuck? So yeah, there were just some minor issues with that. Like, how the characters were portrayed. But once again, it doesn't affect the whole movie all that much. Like, Jesse has a bit more hair, like, okay. But it's still just a detail that's kind of weird. And here's Todd at, like, a 2019 event for the movie itself. And he looks fine, bro. Like, what, I don't know what happened to him when they were shooting that movie. But, my God. He looks fine here. But I don't know, man. But yeah, anyways, so continuing with the movie itself. I found it really interesting how Todd actually took Jesse out once. Like, they just went on a trip because Todd needed help getting rid of a fucking body. Like, in his apartment. He killed his cleaner lady because the cleaner lady found his money on accident. And he just killed her. Fucking cold-blooded. Jesse helped him with that, like, all the way back in the flashback. So Jesse remembers all these things from, like, those times. So he knew where Todd's apartment was. And he went into it. And he tried finding money, right? He tried finding Todd's money because, of course, Jesse needs money. He needs to get out of there. He can't stay there forever because the news people, like the people that are investigating the Walter White situation, they knew of Jesse from the link that Hank already had with him, I think, to the blue meth. So they knew the person that was being held captive by the gang of Uncle Jack was probably Jesse. And they were looking for him, of course. I mean, he was going to get arrested hard as fuck. He had to get out of there. But first he needed money, of course, so we tried finding that. But then we have a pretty interesting twist to it all, I guess, because suddenly two cops show up, alright? Two cops show up to Todd's apartment, and they go inside, alright? They're searching for stuff as well, but these guys are not actually cops. So Jesse's out there hiding from who he thinks are cops, but they're not actually cops. They're just two other people, who I guess were somehow related to Uncle Jack and his gang. But here we have a really, really weird scene, alright? Like, we have a really weird flashback. So Jesse's fighting these two guys, and he's like, in the end he gives up, alright? Because those two guys, you know, it was a 1v2, and you know, he was almost getting killed there with guns. But we have a really weird flashback. So the flashback is that when Todd took Jesse out for a trip, as I said earlier, when they were getting rid of that body, Jesse had the opportunity to kill Todd, and he didn't. Like, what? Jesse being held captive for months, getting tortured. He had the opportunity to set himself free. He had a gun. He could shoot Todd, but he didn't, and he gave Todd the gun back. Like, what the fuck was that scene? What was that all about? Like, I don't understand. What? It was so weird to watch. Like, come on, kill him, bro. Like, he could have escaped such a long time ago, and none of this would have happened. Like, holy shit. So yeah, I just don't know why he didn't kill Todd. I mean, I can think of a reason, okay? Because of course Todd was nice to Jesse. Todd was the only reason that Jesse was still alive, even because Uncle Jack would have wanted to kill him a long time ago, but Todd kept insisting on keeping him for cooking meth. So I guess maybe that's why he didn't want to kill Todd, because Todd did a lot of good things for him, even though he did, of course, still do bad things. He was the only reason Jesse was alive in the first place. And maybe Jesse also just felt bad, you know, I mean, Todd was just a young man, he was like 20. Maybe he didn't want to kill someone, you know, I mean, still though, you get tortured for months there, you're literally a slave. You're a meth slave, Jesse. Just kill Todd, bro. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense, because in the end of Breaking Bad, I just realized this. He kills Todd. Like, he kills Todd, like, really aggressively. He fucking chokes him with handcuffs. So he killed Todd in the end of Breaking Bad. But not there. So I just don't get it now. I got no clue. Like, what the fuck? That was such a weird scene. But anyways, continuing from that point on, we have, of course, Jesse with the fake cops once again. He's still in there, and you know, the fake cops, they beat him, they tie him up even. But eventually they come to a sort of agreement, and they eventually split the money in the house, you know, 1/3 each. Which was a good deal, I guess, but yeah, still kind of unfortunate that Jesse didn't get all. And now after this, Jesse got his money, he has one thing to do, he has to escape, alright? He has to get away. And there's only one way to do that. The vacuum cleaner man, bro. We have Ed, or I think it's, I don't even know his name anymore. So we have Jesse going to that store, alright? He knows the location of the store. And the guy doesn't want to do it at first, because Jesse didn't have enough money, I think. Because Jesse tried doing it before, but he you know, he didn't go. Like, he set up the whole thing, he had the money, he was going to go away in, like, Breaking Bad Season 5, somewhere in the middle. But then he stopped, alright? He didn't go. So the guy was still kind of mad about that, so he wanted Jesse to pay double for the time that he didn't go. And that was kind of funny, the whole scene there, where he even called the cops on Jesse. But I don't know why he didn't let Jesse go, though, because Jesse did have the money, though. He was 1,800 short, but I highly doubt that is the reason why the vacuum cleaner man didn't let him go. I think he thought that this wasn't a good idea or something, or that, you know, Jesse, of course, I mean, after that, he would have zero money, so it wasn't really good. He wouldn't really survive that well, I think, without any cash. So maybe he just thought Jesse wasn't financially stable enough to, you know, go away. But yeah, so Jesse didn't have enough money. We have some funny scenes with the vacuum cleaner guy. I really like that, his inclusion. And rest in peace to him as well, by the way, because that actor actually died of brain cancer. He died of the release day of this movie, which is also kind of scary. And I think it's kind of wild how, like, almost none of the actors in this show are dead, alright? I mean, we have Old Joe. This guy was born in 1935, alright, I think. He's pushing 90. And we have Hector as well. He's like born in 1937, so he's also like 85. But yeah, so unfortunately that guy did die. He was still pretty old though. He was born in like 1941 or something. But at least he still got to act here, you know, so that's great. But yeah, anyways, after the whole thing with him being at the vacuum cleaner and not being able to afford it, he went back to the fake cops. He knew where they were. They were from a company called Kennedy Welding, which Jesse was already familiar with. That was the company that actually helped build the meth lab that he was working in for Uncle Jack for a whole long ass time. So that was the company that actually built that whole thing. And yeah, so he looked those guys up, he went to their company, and they were partying hard as fuck, they were super drunk. So, you know, that was a whole, like, insane, like, scene there. Jesse walks in, he asks for more money, and the guy is like, you know what, we're gonna do it old school style, we're gonna do it as if we're two fucking cowboys. They were like doing like a face-off, I don't know how you call it, but like those things where cowboys, you know, they grab their guns and like shoot really fast. They did that kind of thing. And I mean, it was funny. Jesse kind of cheated though, because he had a second gun in his like jacket pocket, so he shot him way faster. He didn't have to pull out a gun. It was a super wild scene. I mean, that guy obviously is a fucking idiot for even doing something like that. It was literally like, alright, if you can kill me, you can get everything. Okay, I guess. Of course, Jesse won that battle, and he had enough money. And then somewhere around here, we also have a very weird flashback of Walter. Here we have this scene here. And I mean, I don't really know what the point of it was. I feel like it was kind of weirdly placed. It was kind of random. But also an issue here. If you look at Walter, his head is massive. Another thing, like with Jesse having more hair in the beginning and Todd being fat as fuck, we have here Walter, because the actor himself, he was not bald at the moment, right? And he couldn't shave his head because he was doing another role in a different movie or series, I don't know. But yeah, so he couldn't shave his head, so he had to like put a fake bald cap on, and it looked terrible. I mean, it didn't look terrible, it looked fine, but his head was way bigger than it should be. If you look here, bro, it's a fucking mega mind. Like, this is not the normal head size of his in the show, alright? Like, what the fuck? So here I have a little, like, making of video where they talk about, you know, Walt's head being so big. They actually shrunk it down in, like, you know, an editing software, but it still looks really big. Like here, this is like the head size of like in real life, and they shrink it down. Let's look at that. Yeah, so it was still a little big, as I already showed previously. It looked kind of weird, but it is what it is, I guess. They should have used the same head shrinking algorithm on Todd. True. So yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Can't really do much about it. Bro has a life outside of this fucking movie, so he couldn't shave his head, unfortunately. But yeah, I just thought that whole scene itself was also just weirdly placed, as I already said before. It felt kind of random, but it was still kind of wholesome, though. I mean, they were talking about the future. It was like a flashback to when they were selling meth with their little crew of like 3 sellers, Skinny Pete, Badger, and Combo. It was around that time. And it's kind of a scene that we don't see many of in Breaking Bad. They were like just having a normal conversation, you know? Talking about life, they were having breakfast. It was kind of interesting and also pretty cool, I guess, how they were talking about like what Jesse wanted to do after, he got all that money, go to college maybe, study some shit, and become successful in life. I don't know, it just felt kind of weirdly placed, kind of random, but maybe it was like to reflect on, how things once were, what his plans were maybe, and how that all changed, of course, and now he had to flee, of course. But yeah, so Jesse goes back to the vacuum cleaner guy now with like way more money because he got all the money from those other 2 guys. And he goes to Alaska, right? Where he finally has peace. And he sends one last letter, which I thought was kind of weird because he sent a letter to Brock, which was just like random as fuck. I mean, I guess he felt bad that the mom died. Andrea, I think her name was. I guess he felt bad about that and just wanted to send Brock something. I don't really know what the fuck Brock is supposed to do with that. Like, bro, his mom is dead and he randomly gets a fucking message from someone he hasn't spoken to like a year. I just didn't really get the point of that whole letter, but maybe there's some deeper meaning to it. I mean, I don't know what Jesse wrote in there, but hopefully Brock's doing well in life. I mean, we don't really know. His mom died, bro. He doesn't have a dad either, so he's probably just an orphan at this point, which I don't even know, bro. I don't know if you know what address he sent it to. I highly doubt he's still living there all by himself, right? Like, I don't know. But yeah, we have the final scenes now. We have a flashback of Jane, of course, Jesse's girlfriend in the beginning of the show, season 2. And it was kind of a wholesome flashback as well. They were just talking about some goofy ass quote about the universe going where the universe takes you or whatever. It was really nice, man. It was a really cool scene. But in the end, so is Jane like Jesse's true soulmate? I don't know. Because I thought, honestly, I feel like him and Andrea had more of like a match. I don't know. But I guess considering that flashback, maybe he still, sees Jane as like the one. I don't know, man. But it was a really nice flashback. And honestly, I really like the way this ends, alright? The final scene is absolutely beautiful. We have Jesse driving off, like in kind of the same fashion as he did in the beginning, which I thought was just perfect. So we have Jesse in the beginning, of course, all fucked up from just escaping the goddamn hellhole that he was in. And we have him driving, the El Camino, and then at the end we have him driving peacefully. He's satisfied. He made it. He's alive. He got a new identity, a new start, all the way in Alaska. And, he's just driving in the same way. Just chilling this time, though, instead of screaming and fucking yelling. I thought that was really nice. And, yeah, that's about it for my review of El Camino, I guess. I really liked this movie. It was not as good as Breaking Bad, though, but that's a really high standard to meet, though. I still give it a 9 out of 10, as I said previously. And if you watch this movie, let me know what you think. And, yeah, I'm going to be watching Better Call Saul some more and putting out videos on that every season. So, hope you enjoyed, and see ya.